this year, President Obama called on all Americans to remember that what binds this nation together is not the colors of our skin or the tenets of our faith or the origins of our names. What makes us exceptional, what makes us American, is our allegiance to an idea articulated in a declaration made more than 2 centuries ago, that we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
We agree with the President. While other nations may find unity in race, religion, or language of the people, we root our unity in a common commitment to this ideal. And it is this ideal that has drawn millions of people from every corner of the globe to our shores. According to the Pew Hispanic Center, more than 40 million Americans are foreign-born, making the United States the world's top destination for immigrants.
Despite the fact that we are, as John F. Kennedy describes us, a nation of immigrants, immigration and the issues of naturalization and citizenship have been a consistent source of political tension since the founding. Today, the greatest source of tension surrounds illegal immigration and centers on 2 big questions.
First, how should we control the flow of undocumented immigrants into the United States?
Second, how should we deal with the 11 million unauthorized immigrants who are already here?
Members of Congress today are working on a new pathway to citizenship that will eventually grant qualified undocumented immigrant citizenship.
But many citizens insist on arguing that undocumented immigrants drain the U.S. economy, they steal jobs from Americans, and threaten our culture by bringing with them their foreign ideals and traditions. These people advocate for tighter border control and stricter deportation policies.
Others argue that immigrants bring grit, determination, and strong work ethics, stimulating our economy by taking on low-wage jobs that most Americans would not want to do anyway. These people advocate for easier paths to citizenship for those immigrants who already live in and contribute to their American communities.
This is the argument that we find most persuasive. While we understand that there is a practical need to control the flow of immigrants into the United States, we believe that immigration benefits our country and makes us culturally stronger. Right now, 11 million people live, work, go to school, pay taxes, and participate in their communities without the protections or benefits of citizenship. This violates the ideals that America was founded on.
Our pathways to citizenships have changed. At first, the Constitution simply left the definition of citizenship up to the states, but also granted Congress in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, the power to make policies regarding immigration and naturalization.
It wasn't until the 14th Amendment in 1868 that there was a national understanding of citizenship. As the amendment states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside.
The U.S.'s birthright citizenship policy, just solely, is embodied in the 14th Amendment. Other countries such as Australia or France do not grant citizenship based on the just solely principle, but instead grant citizenship based on the nationality of parents, known as the jus sanguinis principle.
Being born in the United States isn't the only way to earn citizenship. One can go through the process of naturalization, which will require non-citizens to be 18 or older, have resided in the U.S. for at least 5 years, be of good moral character, demonstrate commitment to the U.S., be familiar with the English language, take the oath of allegiance, as well as pass the citizenship test.
With the 14th Amendment, the principles of jus soli and jus sanguinis, and our current naturalization process, we believe that the current criteria for becoming a citizen has room for improvement.
We believe that Americans should have as much knowledge as those potential citizens taking the citizenship test. It is required for test takers to score at least a 6 out of 10 questions asked, and 98% of potential citizens pass this test. If non-citizens score so greatly, then Americans should be able to perform equally.
However, in a March survey by Xavier University Center for the American Dream, 35% of Americans surveyed could not pass the test. If new citizens are required to know the civics, government, and American history, then we think it should be important for natural-born citizens to know it as well. We'd like to see more schools adopting the teachings of civil education and American history so we can produce more productive and active members of our society.
Thank you. Thank you. So you don't believe the 14th Amendment should be changed, but you think that one of the things that we do need is our citizens who are already citizens need to have as much knowledge about the country in which we live as they have to meet the naturalization process. Can you tell me the extent to which you believe that test, the naturalization process test, really indicates whether somebody is going to be as you said in the beginning, a good citizen, with the phrases you
of
use.
good moral character.
good moral character, good citizen?
Excuse me. We believe that the test would not demonstrate how a potential citizen is of good moral character, but it will demonstrate their commitment to the U.S. As well as the other steps in the naturalization process, and that is what we find important. Not only should potential citizens be able to know the knowledge, it should be a nationwide effort, and we should all understand the basic civics and the American government, etc.
And also, we believe that with understanding, as this test will prove understanding of American culture and history, we feel as though it will reflect the future. And understanding of America's past will demonstrate more of a stable and beneficial future for America as our same principles are being carried through time.
How do you sync your requirement for this test with the current Voters' Rights Act that is currently being considered by the Supreme Court as far as the constitutionality of it?
Can you rephrase the question, please?
Yeah, but if you say you want that citizens have to pass a test in order to vote, is that contradictory to the Voters' Rights Act?
We're not saying that we'd like for our citizens or already American citizens to take the test. Instead, we're saying that it should be an effort to have it in school, just like Cesar Chavez has, where students are aware of what's going on Capitol Hill, even though we're just miles or minutes away from it. We're saying that it should just be taught in schools. It should be something that people value instead of just focusing on social media. It should be something that we not test, but we teach. So it's understood that we do value this this test and this.
Wasn't the Education Act,
There was like a civic education.
Civic Education Act that was passed several years ago that required civic education in grades 4, 8, and 12. Isn't that sufficient?
Well, we find it sufficient, but we feel as though that currently, if an American now takes a test, more than likely their score would be subpar, maybe average. We feel as though that people coming into the U.S., if they score higher than us, that's unacceptable. We've been living here our entire lives, and if we don't know basic criteria that people coming into our country do know, then it's unacceptable. That's why we want to implement the certain criteria that's in the test to be taught into schools and integrated in the curriculum so that people can become as civically and economically aware as the people that's trying to become a U.S. citizen.
So your position there was saying the emphasis is on youth, make sure that they learn it well as they're going through school. It did not apply to the, I'm going to say, uninformed citizens that might exist currently.
Yes.
So what happens if they don't pass the test as they go through school?
We're not testing them based on school. We're having programs that would get them aware of American government, civic education, just as this competition is doing. It's not required, but it is best if students do understand the Constitution and where we started and how the pathway to where we are right now. So it won't be tested. It won't be a requirement in order to vote. It would just be getting the youth involved and creating more active citizenship to participate in our upcoming progression as a nation.
We're not saying we want to create repercussions or consequences. We're just trying to place more emphasis on this fact that we need to reach a certain standard as Americans, and if we hold it to somebody else, then we must be able to adhere to it too.
You gave a really nice summary of some of the historical basis of citizenship, and there's nothing in the Constitution that really defines citizenship. Can you discuss with me why the founders were either unable or unwilling to define what citizenship was?
At the time, the U.S. wasn't the U.S. They didn't have their ideals. They didn't have the idea of how they wanted the entire. Well, at that point, they didn't have 50 states, but how they wanted to run their nation. So they simply left it up to the states because you didn't want someone to be claiming that they're Virginian, but they're not, U.S. citizens. So that way, the states had they had power. They had the power to create citizenship or take it away the states just had, the states just had whatever power they had, but in the Constitution, it was in the 14th Amendment in 1860, that was created in 1868, that defined citizenship, that it left the citizenship up to the states as well as the U.S.
Thank you. Thank you.